Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first podcast of our channel. I'm really happy you're here today. So, let me start with a simple question. Have you ever tried to learn a new language and felt excited at the beginning? But then, after some time, you felt tired, confused, or even frustrated? If your answer is yes, don't worry. You are not alone. In today's episode, we are going to talk about something that every language learner in the world faces. Yes, every single one. No matter where you are from, what language you speak, or how old you are. Our topic today is the challenges that every language learner faces. We will talk about these challenges in a calm and honest way. We will explain why they happen, how they affect learners, and most importantly, how you can deal with them. So, get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's begin. 1. Feeling excited at the beginning and then losing motivation. Let's start with something very common. At the beginning of learning a new language, everything feels exciting. You learn new words. You say your first sentences. You feel proud of yourself. You think, wow, this is amazing. I can do this. But then, after a few weeks or months, something changes. You start to feel bored, tired, slow, or even disappointed. Suddenly, learning the language feels hard. This is one of the biggest challenges for language learners. Losing motivation. Why does this happen? Well, at the beginning, progress is very fast. You learn basic words like hello, thank you, or how are you. You can see improvement quickly. But later, progress becomes slower. Grammar becomes more complex. Vocabulary becomes bigger. Mistakes become more visible. So your brain says, why am I not improving like before? And that's when motivation drops. What can help? First of all, remember this. Slow progress is still progress. Also, set small goals. Celebrate small wins. Change your study routine. Remind yourself why you started. Motivation doesn't stay forever. Sometimes, you need discipline more than motivation. 2. Fear of making mistakes. Now let's talk about another very common problem. Fear of making mistakes. Many learners feel afraid to speak, write, or even try. They think, what if I say something wrong? What if people laugh at me? What if I sound stupid? This fear can be very strong. Why is this fear so common? Because when you speak a new language, you feel vulnerable. You cannot express yourself the way you want. You feel like a child again. And honestly, that can be uncomfortable. But here is the truth. Mistakes are not the problem. Silence is. Every fluent speaker made thousands of mistakes before becoming good. How can you overcome this fear? Accept mistakes as part of learning. Speak anyway, even if it's not perfect. Remember, people usually don't judge as much as you think. Making mistakes means you are trying, and trying means you are learning. 3. Pronunciation problems. Let's move on to pronunciation. This is another big challenge for language learners. You may know the grammar. You may know the vocabulary. But when you speak, people say, sorry? Can you repeat? This can feel frustrating. Why is pronunciation so hard? Because every language has different sounds, different rhythm, different stress. Some sounds may not exist in your native language, so your mouth and tongue are not used to them. Common problems learners face: confusing similar sounds, wrong word stress, flat or unnatural intonation. What can help? Listening a lot, repeating out loud, shadowing native speakers, being patient with yourself. Pronunciation improves slowly, but it does improve. 4. Listening and not understanding native speakers. Now, let's talk about listening. Many learners say, I understand my teacher, but not native speakers. Does this sound familiar? You listen to a movie, a podcast, or a conversation, and you think, why are they speaking so fast? Why does this happen? Because native speakers speak fast, use slang, connect words, Reduce sounds. They don't speak like textbooks. This creates frustration because you know the words, but you can't catch them. How can you improve listening? Listen every day, even for 10 minutes. Start with slow and clear content. Listen again and again. Don't translate every word. Listening is a skill. The more you practice, the better it becomes. 5. Vocabulary overload. Another challenge is vocabulary. At first, learning new words feels fun, but after some time, you may feel overwhelmed. You think, there are too many words. I forget words all the time. Why is vocabulary so difficult? Because words have multiple meanings. Words change in different contexts. Some words are rarely used. Also, memory works better with repetition and use. Common mistakes learners make. Learning long word lists. Not using new words. Learning words without context. Better ways to learn vocabulary. Learn words and sentences. Use words in speaking or writing. Review regularly. Focus on useful words. You don't need to know every word. You need to know the right words. 6. Grammar confusion. Yes, grammar. For many learners, grammar is scary. They think, there are too many rules. Why are there so many exceptions? Why grammar feels confusing? Rules change depending on context. Some rules don't exist in your language. Books explain grammar in complex ways. What learners often feel: confused, frustrated, stuck. How to deal with grammar better. Learn grammar step by step. Focus on meaning, not perfection. Practice grammar in real sentences. Accept that mistakes will happen. Grammar is a tool, not a test. 7. Thinking in your native language. Another challenge is thinking in your native language first. Many learners think in their language, translate, then speak. This makes speaking slow, stressful, unnatural. Why does this happen? Because your brain is comfortable with your first language. The new language feels strange. How to start thinking in the new language. Talk to yourself. Describe things around you. Use simple sentences. Be patient. Thinking directly in the language takes time, but it will happen. 8. Lack of practice opportunities. Now let's talk about practice. Many learners say, I study, but I don't use the language. This is a big problem. Reasons for lack of practice. No native speakers around. Fear of speaking. Busy life. No confidence. Why practice is important. Language is not only knowledge. It is a skill. You can't learn to swim by reading about swimming. Solutions. Speak with language partners. Join online communities. Talk to yourself. Use the language in daily life. Practice doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be regular. 9. Comparing yourself to others. This challenge is very emotional. Many learners compare themselves to classmates, friends, people online. They think, they are better than me. I'm too slow. Why comparison is harmful? Everyone learns differently. Everyone has a different background. Everyone has a different pace. Comparison kills confidence. What to do instead? Compare yourself to your past self. Focus on your own journey. Celebrate your progress. Your path is your path. 10. Feeling tired or burned out. Finally, let's talk about burnout. Learning a language takes time and energy. Sometimes learners feel mentally tired, emotionally drained, bored. Signs of burnout. No desire to study. Frustration. Feeling stuck. What can help? Take breaks. Change learning methods. Make learning fun. Reduce pressure. Rest is part of learning. Final thoughts. So, as we come to the end of today's episode, let's remember something very important. All language learners face challenges. Struggle does not mean failure. Struggle means growth. If learning a language feels hard sometimes, that's normal. If you feel slow, that's okay. If you make mistakes, that's good. The key is consistency, patience, kindness to yourself. Language learning is not a race. It's a journey. Thank you for listening today. Keep going. You are doing better than you think. See you in the next episode.